Okay, so this is part 4, the epilogue. Let me see what my note is. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that when I got to the electric company and I'd pulled the bike out before I even checked the tire, I went to put my water bottle in the water bottle holder. And there was no water bottle holder. I thought, what happened to it? Did John take it off? Because sometimes, he needed to take it off, but I noticed it was rusty. So what I think happened is the bike actually survived Harvey. So I think that it rusted off, because that's the only thing that makes sense. Otherwise, I think he would have replaced it. But, I had dusted my bike off, and it still was a little bit dusty, and there were still a few cobwebs in the tires. I was so embarrassed, but the guy forgave me. He thought it was a cool bike, like I said. Oh, when I went to the second bike shop, I, I don't know if you've had this happen on Google Maps, but you know, it says you're here and you look around and you can't find the place, or the number is wrong. Somebody's house is wrong. It's so I called the place because I said, I'm here, but I can't find you. I said, there's this whatever shop it was. I don't remember what kind of shop it was. I said, it's called the whatever. He said, oh, we're right next to it. Now, their sign was tiny next to this shop that had a huge sign. So I'm thinking you should have at least had a big sign, or one perpendicular to the storefront, because Google Maps has your store on the other block. But anyway, I found it. It took me a while, but I found it. So, oh yeah, the other part I forgot to tell you. So I'd called John on the trail, and I said, oh, by the way, one of the reasons I called you was I needed new tires, but we had gotten so busy talking about sort of, well, it didn't matter. I said, that's why I called you. And he said, well, actually, you do need new tires. Newman. Well, he said, you know what? It was probably a godsend that you went to that trail, because the other one you wanted to go to doesn't have any bike shops along that trail at all. So that's kind of all's well that ends well. There's still a couple of PSs. Let me just double check. Okay, so when I pull into the house, and I literally finished recording that third part, Monica pulls up beside me, and she goes, how was your day? I said, I'm making a recording. You're going to have to watch it. It's too much to tell you. I think it's an hour long. And I said, I've been trying to bike since 10 this morning. Well, she just dies laughing with that big Julia Roberts laugh. So I open the trunk and I gather all my belongings. I have a huge water bottle and a huge cup of my lemon water with the stevia, and that's empty, in my huge purse. I used to be able to fit everything into this tiny purse. Now I have to carry one that's almost the size of Mary Poppins. But I'm trying to pare down anyway, size down like my mom says. Anyway, so in the bike helmet, so I'm carrying that in, and we get inside and we're talking and we're catching up. And I look outside. I said, are those my car lights on, or did somebody pull up in the driveway? So she looks outside. She said, oh, your back door's open. We gotten in and we were catching up so much that I forgot to go take the bike out of the back of the car. Anyhow, and then the other thing about the helmet being backwards reminded me of the story when we got married. I think I've uploaded a picture even kind of recently, but I'll see if I can find one and I'll upload that too. When we got married, now I went and shopped. There was a a place called Filene's Basement in Boston, and it's known for, they have this, there's one day a year where they have a sale on all their wedding dresses. And and then they have, every brand that you can think of, just really the best brands. They have Filene's, which is like Dillard's upstairs, or between Dillard's and Nordstrom's or something. And then the basement is all of the seconds or the last season, or the discounted stuff that they couldn't sell up on the main floor. But they get a whole slew of wedding dresses in, and there's this one day a year where people they literally wait outside. I don't know if they camp out from the night before or early that morning, but they open the doors really early, and people like run over each other, and they take their friends and they gather up bundles of dresses. They don't even look at the size, and people go in and try the dresses on to see if they fit, because they're great dresses for a fraction of the price, for maybe 10 to 50% of what you would pay, meaning that it would be 50 to 90% off, depending on, so it's a mess. And I said, I don't want to do that. And a friend of mine, who was going to get married, had a wedding dress. John and I were dating, and she said, I want to lose a little weight. You're about the size I want to be when I hope to get married. And I've already bought a wedding dress, and I think it'll fit you. Would you try it on? And she looked like me. I'll try to find that picture of, hopefully I'll have me with the veil and her in it, because what was so funny is people thought that we were sisters. My sister's adopted, and so she's the beautiful, beautiful Brazilian version of me. I think we look alike. I think we favor. Dad said that we sounded alike on the phone for many, many years. Well, when people would see pictures, they think that Kelly was my sister. So I tried on her dress, and I came out, and John is beet red. I don't think we had been dating 6 months, maybe. And I was embarrassed. But, I enjoyed trying the dress on. It fit. I knew it fit. And the poor guy is embarrassed, because what does it look like? That I'm hinting, which I wasn't. I wasn't ready. So I just said on the way home, John, I'm not ready for marriage. I hope that didn't bother you. He said, no, you look pretty in it. So I ended up calling her. I said, hey, do you still have that dress? Because we got married over 3 years later. And she said, yeah. So I said, can I borrow it? And it came with a veil and everything. So she said, sure. Well, now this is the funny thing. I mean, she was there for the wedding. I got my hair done up, and I had the veil put on. The hairdresser had tried it on and had told me how to put it on. So I put it on that way. And Kelly was there. And it wasn't until afterwards, I don't know how long afterwards. I don't know if she said, I didn't have the heart to tell you that day, or I remembered later, but she said, I have to tell you something. You wore the veil headpiece backwards. She said, but it worked. So I can't remember if she knew that day and just decided not to tell me, or if later it, like there's a saying up north called light dawns on Marblehead. It dawned on her that it was all backwards, and she decided to tell me. So anyway, that's what the helmet reminded me of, that I had worn my wedding veil backwards, and it did. And I kept thinking, why is it hanging? The pearls kind of come down by the eyes. Shouldn't it be more, there was like one layer of pearl thing up here, and then it kind of hung down right above my eyebrows, Well, now I know why. That should have been on the back of my head, and then the veil would have, I think, come over and then been thrown back. All I know is I put it on, and I didn't wear the veil over my face. When I walked down the aisle, I wore it back. And so there you go. That's the story about the veil. Thank you for listening to my story about the bike. Make sure when you go biking that your tires are aired up, that your that they are in good shape, that they're not too stiff, that your brakes work. Oh, that was the other thing the guy said. Your back brakes need working on, but I can't fix them tonight. I'm gonna have to work on them tomorrow, so I have to keep the bike overnight. I said, forget it, because I am riding that trail tonight. I am determined, because I have been trying since 10 o'clock this morning to do it, but I will get the brake fixed. So there you go. So keep your bike in tune and stay tuned for more funny stories. Take care and have a great evening. Bye-bye.